Greetings and salutations, everyone. Happy New Year, 2020. Wow. Unbelievable. So today, I'm going to do something just a little bit different. We're going to get into the Dogman encounters, but on a whole different perspective. What I'm going to look at today is how the government uses the news agencies to cover up a Dogman or cryptid attack faster than that attack happened. Before we get into that, a couple links. As you know, I rely on my Patreon, my PayPal, and my merch to help this channel to continue to grow and go. All of those links are in the description below. I also have a second channel for creepypasta, fanfiction, and scary voice acting. Stories that really don't fit on this channel. Now, if that's anything that you're into, follow that link and give those stories a listen. You may just like what you hear. I also just started reviewing a product from Badass Beard Care. Their website and product line will be in the description below. Also, a code to get a discount and to help the channel will be in there as well. So now I've taken enough of your time. Let's really look at why the government and the news agencies are hiding these encounters from us. Shall we? The first attack that I'm going to talk about, you can actually Google. Just Texas woman attacked by feral hog. And there will be numerous reputable newspapers discussing this. Now, when you do look at it, there is nothing that goes further than a week. Literally, it goes from the day it happened to like 2 days after. It's disturbing. Feral hogs attack and kill a woman in Texas. Christine Rollins, 59, was feet away from a front door when she was killed. It was only the 5th documented fatal wild hog attack in the country since 1825. Christine Rollins' car parked just outside of the home she was trying to enter when she was attacked by the feral hog. Christine Rollins steered her white sedan towards the rural Texas home and parked it just a few steps away from the front door. She stepped out of the car, locked it, and prepared to head into the house where she worked as a caretaker for an older couple. Instead, according to the authorities, who are now investigating her death, she was attacked by a herd of feral hog before she could make the short walk. Hog attacks are rare, but the scene was so harrowing that investigators could find no other explanation for Miss Rollins' death early Sunday morning in a hook about 50 miles east of Houston. It was just the 5th deadly feral hog attack documented in the United States in nearly 2 centuries, according to one study. It was like nothing we'd ever seen before, Sheriff Brian C. Hawthorne of Chambers County said in an interview on Tuesday, the day after the medical examiner ruled the cause of death as exsanguination due to feral hog assault, using a medical term for severe blood loss. One of the homeowners went to check on why Miss Rollins, 59, had not come inside at her usual time and discovered her body on a small patch of grass. Miss Rollins was one of 3 caregivers who worked 12 to 14-hour shifts looking after the husband, 84, and wife, 79, who suffer from memory loss. She is known for her compassion, the sheriff said, relaying a story of when Miss Rollins drove over from another town to feed the couple when the wife had gotten sick. Miss Rollins' son-in-law told a local television station that the family had been preparing for her 60th birthday, which falls on Christmas. Sheriff Hawthorne said it was clear from her injuries that Miss Rollins had fought back against the hog. He said it was impossible to know exactly how many had attacked her, but that there had been more than one based on the varying sizes of bite wounds. There are millions of wild hog in Texas, though they are rarely violent towards humans. Texans mostly encounter them when the animals have uprooted a flower bed or damaged crops. Unlike domesticated pigs, feral hog can become aggressive if they feel trapped, or if a female hog is defending her offspring. Most weigh about 200 pounds, though they can grow to be about 500. Feral pigs will lunge at you and attack you if they perceive you as a threat, said John J. McGlone, a professor of animal behavior at Texas Tech University, who has studied feral and domestic hog. There are about 100 documented attacks by feral hog on humans in the United States between 1825 and 2012, 4 of which were fatal, according to a 2013 study. The most recent of those was also in Texas in 1996. 3 of the 4 fatal attacks were by pigs wounded by hunters, but feral hog attacks in urban and suburban areas have increased since the mid-90s, said John J. Mayer, the study's author. He warned that many attacks likely go unreported, especially in rural regions. Sheriff Hawthorne said the tragedy was one of the worst he had seen in his 35-year career. He said that as developers build houses in rural areas, more wild hogs are coming into contact with people, but the only other hog attack he had worked on was when one had attacked a pet cat. Feral hogs are just that. They're feral, they're wild, and they roam, he said. One minute they're tearing up the land on one ranch, the next minute they're tearing up the ranch on a town over. Feral hog descended from European wild boar, which were first brought to Texas in the 1500s and sometimes bred with domesticated pigs, Professor McGlone said. They mostly eat vegetation, but are omnivorous and can briefly run at speeds up to 30 miles an hour. The animals move in the darkness to stay cool, which may have been why Miss Rollins encountered them in the early morning. Adult males travel alone, Professor McGlone said, but juvenile males sometimes travel in pairs, and adult females travel in herds with one another and their young, sometimes numbering in the 50s. He says that if the hogs in this case had been lying near the house, they may have felt threatened by Miss Rollins's car. Sheriff Hawthorne said members of his department still found the attack hard to believe. I don't know how many we've had in Texas, he states. I hope we never have another one of these in Chambers County. He said the feral hogs may have eventually been scared away from Miss Rollins by the homeowner's dogs. Professor McGlone said that if someone encounters aggressive feral hog, they should try to make as much noise as possible to scare them off and get to a safe spot. To me, that sounds like a bunch of hogwash, pun intended. Now, normally I save my comments and kind of like my view for the end, but I'm not on these because I want to discuss the proof or belief that I have why the government is telling the news to quickly cover, quickly lie, shut up, here's some spend back money for you. The attack happened November 25th. The last report of the attack, there's only like 2 or 3 that extend out to November 27th. The rest are November 25th and 26th. There's a brief story on December 18th in regards to a park initiative, which just states that some local hunters with suppressed rifles will be in this park in Chambers County shooting hog. Very brief mention of the attack. The attack is mentioned, but it's mentioned very briefly. A couple of things also, these stories from each newspaper are almost identical, even on the news feed, identical. So a couple of things that stuck out in this article. Investigators could find no other explanation. Yeah, you couldn't, could you? So you made one up. It was just the 5th deadly feral hog attack. That makes no sense. It was just the 5th deadly feral hog attack, like just brushing it aside. It was like nothing we had ever seen. Sheriff Brian Hawthorne. Okay. They mostly eat vegetation, but are omnivorous and can briefly run at speeds to 30 miles an hour. So you go from they eat vegetables and occasionally will become like a human and eat meat and vegetables to they run 30 miles an hour sometimes. Why that quick in the same sentence? The sentence ends miles per hour with a comma. It makes no sense. It literally makes no sense. Sheriff Hawthorne said members of his department still found the attack hard to believe. And the dogs of the homeowners scared the feral hogs away. In one of the video feeds, these older people, they don't have huge dogs. They're 84 and 79. They have lap dogs. Okay, I think they're like corgis. If a full-size grown woman is not going to scare a hog, why is a couple of corgis? No, this was straight up. The woman was attacked by a Dogman. I'm almost 100% sure. They mention nothing about the ground being torn up by hog, because if there was hog, the ground would be torn the fuck up. Bottom line, all right? My idea is the woman pulls up, it's dusk, okay? She gets up to the house, parks, gets out of her car, all right? All of a sudden, boom, Dogman comes out from nowhere. Kills her. Unfortunately, the attack happened. Who knows why? We don't know. But if it was a hog, the woman, you're going to see them. And if you can't see them, you're going to hear them. So any smart person, and she's intelligent because she's a caregiver, so she has to have some sort of nursing classes. On top of almost 60 years of living experience. So something scary is coming at you that you see, and it's a friggin' hog. You're going to run up to the top of your car and stand on your roof, because it's not going to run up your car and stand on your roof with you. I mean, granted, you did lock your door. But another thing, why would she lock her door in such a rural neighborhood? A little creepy to me. So, I mean, this is a prime example, you know? And then you don't hear anything about it. We heard about it. It was breaking news for a couple of days and then pittered right out. Just like nothing. I mean, literally. And in one of the news feeds, there's a gentleman, and he has a feral hog head from a 400-pound pig. Now, when he moved the bottom jaw to the top jaw to show like a biting motion, that there's no possible friggin' way. Because I was looking and thinking, and a dog will bite. An animal with a snout, an elongated snout, will bite and tear. Well, hogs do have an elongated snout, but they have those tusks. So when they bite, they're not just biting, they're just thrashing and just tearing. Okay? They said multiple bites led to the severe blood loss from this poor woman. My heart goes out to this woman's family because, like, just tell the fucking truth, man. Like, the government is, I don't understand why they would hide this. Just tell us the truth so we can be safe. It's that simple. So you weaponized a Dogman, or maybe you didn't weaponize one. Maybe there's one you're trying to catch. And you're just going to sweep it under the rug. And that's perfect example. I mean, I urge you guys to just Google it. Christine Rollins, feral hog attack. And just look at the dates. This was breaking friggin' news for 2 days, and then it just stopped. It's disgusting. It's truly disgusting. Now, it's not only the United States government and the United States news agencies lying to us to protect us from the unknown, but other countries throughout the world are doing the same. The next encounter comes to us from France, and the French have had a long history with the Dogman, the Rougarou, and the Loup de la Grue, or whatever, however you say that one. I know people are going to correct me. Don't, please. I hate it. Because I know how to spell it. I have a hard time saying things sometimes when I'm just going off the top of my head. Now, this one is saddening. The young woman lost her life, and my heart goes out to her boyfriend, and you guys will see why. Boyfriend of pregnant woman mauled to death by dogs in France describes how he found her entirely undressed and bitten all over, and blames local hunt pack for her death. Pregnant Elisa Pilakarski, 29, was mauled to death in a forest near Paris on Saturday. Partner Christopher told how he found her stripped naked and covered in bites. He blamed a pack of around 30 deer-hunting dogs, which he says were nearby. Police have taken DNA samples from 67 dogs, including the pet Miss Pilarski was walking at the time, to try to establish which ones were responsible. The partner of the pregnant woman who was mauled to death by dogs in France has described how he found her naked body with bite marks all over. Christopher Lucen Joseph said he found the remains of his girlfriend, Elisa Pilarski, 29, on Saturday afternoon in the forest of Retz near Paris. After she had called him to say she was worried about some threatening dogs. He said that he first encountered a pack of around 30 dogs along with a rider, then discovered a ravine with Elisa's body inside nearby. Christopher Lucen Joseph, partner of pregnant Elisa, who was mauled to death by dogs in France at the weekend, described that moment he had found her body. Also lying aside of her was their dog Curtis, who had also been bitten on the head. Sobbing in an interview with French broadcaster BFM, Christopher described how he initially mistook her stomach for a wooden log. Sitting alongside the body was Elisa's own dog, Curtis, which Christopher said had a bite on his head. Asked who he believes was responsible, he replied, "It can only be the hunt." According to the local newspaper, Le Coeur Picard, the hounds were hunting. Police investigating the death, which happened between 1 p.m. and 1:30 p.m., say they have collected DNA from 67 dogs to establish which animals were responsible. The majority of the dogs, 62, belonging to a hunting club, while the other 5 belonged to Christopher and Elisa. Frederick Trin, the public prosecutor leading the investigation into her death. Investigation has been launched against persons unknown, a common procedure in France for manslaughter due to carelessness or negligence. Trin said that police still had no main line of inquiry. He confirmed that Pilarski had phoned her partner, who was at work before the attack, to tell him that she had come across threatening dog with quotations. In a Facebook message, she also wrote that a German Shepherd was on the prowl, but police had yet to identify that dog, Trin says. Hunting Association have denied that they could be blamed. The Paris-based French Hunting Association said in a statement that nothing shows the involvement of hunting hounds in the death of this woman. France has more than 30,000 hunts with hounds in total, and the association stated that these dogs are trained to hunt a particular animal and obey the man in all circumstances. Let's dive down into the investigation on this one. This attack happened November 19th of 2019. The reports only go to November 22nd. 3 days. You're telling me that a pregnant woman found in a park dead only deserves 3 days of news. Disgusting. It's the couple of things that stick out right away. Also, looking at these, I encourage everyone to check it out. Just, Google pregnant woman in Paris mauled by dogs. Naked body with bite marks all over. Why was she naked? Even when a dog attacks or a couple of dogs, you're not going to have all of your clothes torn off. Something's very strange there. The next is how he states he first encountered a pack of around 30 dogs along with a rider, then discovered a ravine with Elisa's body inside nearby. So the dogs are obviously obeying the rider. I don't care what kind of asshole you are. If you are the richest, snobbiest douchebag in the world and your dogs just killed a pregnant woman or a person, you're gonna call for help. That makes no sense. Just so obviously the rider was not aware of what was going on. Otherwise, I'm guessing that he would have called for help. Also, the dogs seem to be obeying him. The next is Curtis, their dog, was found bitten in the head. Now, mind you, these people, Elisa and Christopher, had 5 pit bulls. We all know that pit bulls are, they have a stereotype, they have that stigma about them or whatever, that they're terribly mean dogs. I don't believe they are. I believe that any dog can be mean. It's just how it's treated. To me, I think a pit bull and other dogs that, other fighting breeds like Akitas and stuff, are fiercely loyal to their owner. And I'm guessing that dog Curtis, if 30 dogs attacked, would be torn up just like this woman. I mean, her clothes are ripped off and she's torn up. Why is Curtis only bit in the head? A pit bull is not gonna get bit and then lie down and watch 30 other dogs. On top of, while these dogs are attacking, is the rider just watching? I doubt it. I really do doubt it. A couple of other things. The Facebook message. The German Shepherd type dog was on the prowl, but police had yet not to identify that dog. Huh. Now, to me, what do we always establish or, relate to the Dogman? German Shepherd-like head or wolf-like head. They keep saying in quotations. It's always in quotations. Threatening dog or dogs. This is... It's a tragedy. It is a terrible, terrible tragedy. But unfortunately, the gentleman lost his family, and who else are you going to blame but a pack of 30 dogs and the rider? But then you've got to think, if he were to, in time, sit back and think about this, and look at what I just pointed out, because it's in black and white. It's right here in front of me. None of this adds up, man. It all points to a Dogman to me. Like the gentleman said, they're all trained to hunt a particular animal and obey the rider at all circumstances. I'm doubting that these dogs were trained to hunt people. Even the, coon dogs that are just hardcore dogs, you let 10 of those out on some coons and get them treed, those dogs aren't going to attack a random person. They're going after what they want to get. They're not going to stray, and they might have strayed for the fight of a pit bull, but a bite in the head, one bite to the head, that dog, man, savagely ruined or tore apart this woman. The pit bull probably tried to protect. The Dogman did a very powerful bite to the head, and that dog was out of commission for the time being. Probably after that, he heard the other dogs approaching and the rider, and took off. Like I said, I encourage you guys to Google these. It's all in black and white, man. And it shows that the governments and the news agencies, the government's pawn, the news agency. Even Trump, and, like him or not, he's our president. But he insults the news, but he uses it. Fake news, but he uses it. It's a tool. It's like a hammer. It's the press is a hammer for political gain, protection, lies, deceit. And it's a very good tool, because we take the news to be true at all times, because that's how we were brought up. The news is on. Let's watch the news. Let's find out what's going on. Let's get lied to. So, I don't know. This one was tragic. They were both tragic, but too much lies. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed these encounters and my analysis. I want to thank everybody, and I'd like to hear from you guys in the comments below what you guys think. With that, I'm going to bid you farewell.